I speak from a very clear standpoint, international law. And what international law obliges you to do is, if you really need to have a scheme, end the genocide. And the genocide is not a war. In order to have a war, I mean, look, I hear you speaking, and I respect you a lot, but something inside me shakes, because you're talking of this as if there were two armies confronting each other. If it's a war, if it's a conflict, it's between a people who are trying to resist on the little that remains of their land, frankly, and one of the most powerful armies here in the region. And again, I insist on the settler colonial framework, and I insist on this on the ground, that this is how we can read it from an international law point of view, because it's the most basic infringement of the law of self-determination. If you don't understand that this is a settler colonial conflict, then please don't call it a conflict. So, end the genocide. Now, it is to happen now. Then, within the framework, then the General Assembly has said, so before September next year, end of the occupation, and then long-term end of apartheid. This is what it is to be done. And there are things that you can do. First of all member states, and together with other rapporteurs, I think it was 30 of us, but also the Commission of Inquiry, we have issued recommendations on how to comply with the International Court of Justice advisory opinion. So review all engagement and ties that your states have with the State of Israel. And again, it's nothing against the State of Israel per se, it's the State of Israel as a persistent violator of international law. And then arms embargo and other forms of transfers, including oil, have to be suspended. And again, while I look at the West, and I'm very critical of the part of the world I come from, many states from the global south still have ties with Israel. And again, we need to have clean hands on this at the moment that genocide is being committed. So these relations have to be suspended. Review political, economic, diplomatic, military, and strategic relations with Israel. Because let's be frank, many states are looking at Israel with a bit of admiration in the way it manages to win over through its gain impunity, go ahead with its impunity. I mean, the way Israel is genociding the Palestinian population is also setting a new model, presenting a new script on how to deal with people who are considered an encumbrance and can be Palestinian, Lebanese, but in another setting, in another country, can be political opponents. This represents a risk for all of us, for all of you. And then accountability. I look at Arab countries as a source of hope. Much more can be done to advance accountability. Join the proceedings initiated by South Africa, please. And advance, and also those of you who are party to the Rome Statute, please initiate, contribute to the investigation that is being done. This is very powerful and symbolic on top of being technically needed. Another element that is very important, the Palestinians who have been displaced from Gaza are highly traumatized. I've seen it with my own eyes, those who have been welcomed in Qatar, in other Arab countries, in Jordan, those who are in Egypt. They need protection. Protection needs. I thank all of you who have welcomed them, but having them just parked there is not enough. They need protection. And as someone who has studied the status and treatment of Palestinians, including in Arab countries, I beg you, please don't treat them as unwelcome guests. They need to be protected now more than ever. And this doesn't require, I'm not talking only to Egypt, Qatar, and Jordan. I'm talking to Arab countries. This is a time to show true solidarity to the Palestinians at the time they're being genocided. Justice also means recognizing the value. I'm so happy to see the BDS movement present here today. I think it's the first time that the BDS is participating in activities of the General Assembly, and this is a sign of how times are changing and changing fast. A number of countries have even criminalized the BDS that in other countries, like in South Africa, has been strategic in advancing the end of apartheid. More needs to be done, including in Arab countries, to support the BDS, and including in discussing with countries, members of this assembly, which criminalize the BDS. Indonesia asked how the assault on UNRWA and the nail in the coffin was the outlawing the organization through an act of the Israeli parliament. How does it affect, if it can also be seen as part of the genocidal assault on the Palestinians? I think it is, in two respects, and one is very clear. UNRWA does represent a lifeline for the Palestinians in Gaza, not only for what it does and provides, which might be very little compared to the needs, but what it can provide. UNRWA has the capacity to assist the Palestinians in a way that no other agency can. And so the fact of incapacitating UNRWA is going to have a clear, serious humanitarian impact on the already tragic humanitarian situation in Gaza. But also, while cultural genocide is not an element of the crime, jurisprudence is clear that attacking the identity, the sense of life, the sense of collective identity of a people can contribute to identify genocidal intent. And this is what I think is behind the assault on UNRWA that didn't start on October 7. It has been decades of vilification and threats against the agency that now, of course, have escalated. And with this, I end. Thank you so much.